Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Deal Scout. On today's show, I'm excited. This guy's a legend. You might have seen him all over YouTube and all these videos of what he's doing. But want to welcome Chris to the show. Chris, welcome, man.
Thanks, Josh. You set me up by saying that, but I appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody's been in the deal game for a while, they've probably seen your stuff. So, kind of give us an idea of who you are and what are you focused on.
Yeah, I'll give you the 10,000-foot view because I'm going on 30 plus years here. I have since 91 touched on a lot of the niches. I was a broker for 18 of those years, built hundreds of homes, did some flips, a lot of the niches, not syndication, some of the other things by choice, but a lot of the niches I've touched. Coming into the crash, or out of the crash, I should say, of '08, that was nasty. I know not just for me, so I don't need there's no pity party here, but it was nasty. And as a result, what we're doing now, we being my son-in-law, and my son, and a great team, we buy and sell in the New England area. And we do so on terms, meaning we don't use banks. We don't put up money. There's exceptions to that piece if it's a great deal. But by and large, we don't put up our own money. We don't sign on loans. So it didn't, for me, coming out of the crash, it was a necessity. My credit went in the toilet and I had liquidated everything. So we do buy on terms, and then we go ahead and teach that all around the country now. So we're in the trenches doing it, and we hold people's hands very interactively and do deals out there now.
Yeah. So as you're doing this, what is the perfect deal look like as you, your son, and son-in-law? Which that's probably an interesting story there too. What's a perfect deal look like for you?
This is good because no one's ever asked me that. And we set up our avatar, right, for our personal family deals.
Yeah.
Typically for us, it's someone that's out of state and appreciates the structuring of terms. And after that deal is made at the very beginning, it's hands off for them. So who are some sellers that make that up? People relocating, people sadly who got hit by not being able to pay their mortgage. COVID put that on hyperdrive, right? But
Yeah.
that's always been around. And then the third niche, totally different, is the seller who's free and clear. It's about a third of the properties in the US right now. They're awesome to deal with. There's a certain, call it financial savvy, they're debt free, they're there for a reason. The building I'm standing in today talking to you is a mixed use building that we bought in 18 on terms. Free, it was free and clear. Didn't have to go to the bank, didn't have to go through the grueling underwriting and all that. So that's sort of a highlight. But I mean, there's all niches within that niche, but that's a highlight for you.
Sure. What does a bad deal look like? Now, obviously, if the numbers don't line up, we'll call that a bad deal. But
Yeah.
what are other areas or other things that you see, whether dealing with the seller or the property? What's a bad deal for you?
Yeah, this is good too, because I think if you ask me to look back and what were the bad deals that either that we rushed into,
Yeah.
or at the time we didn't have our avatar spelled out like I just told you, and we were grabbing deals to grab deals. Everybody's done it in real estate, and come out of the crash where I was super aggressive. I did some of those. So what specifically? Putting a buyer in a home that shouldn't have been in a home. We do rent to home programs, so we want good, strong buyers. Entering a deal with a seller that you knew was a pain in the ass day one, whether they were questioning everything you did or whether they were haggling right through the whole like this is a very simple process. And if all those red flags went up at the beginning, we shouldn't have done the deal. And so we don't now, but after
Yeah.
31 years, I'm brain dead to it. But the beginning we did, and it causes headaches and sometimes loss and sometimes relationships.
Yeah. Sometimes the best deal is the deal you don't do, right?
Yeah, 100% to tie those two together. Yep.
Yeah. If you could go back in time, you and I, go back in time and you could remove one deal, just one, what was the worst deal you ever did that you're like, I wish I could erase that from the memory?
Well, it would have to be pre-crash, because post-crash I can control them. You can pivot so many ways, but pre-crash it would have been raising some funds to do a condominium conversion. It was a 6-unit building in Providence, Rhode Island. There was a bunch of errors in hindsight. Error number one, raising private money right before the crash. Not that I should have known the crash, but I should have known to keep the LTV down further. And then problem number two with that deal is raising money with someone I knew. So not only do I not borrow money now, I don't borrow money from someone I know, and because that caused the relationship to go sour, and that's awful because that's more important, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, in 2006, my group and I, we built 20, no, 40, maybe 40 spec homes. Bad timing, right?
Oh, so you were in the lovely time as same as I am, and I appreciate and respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my real estate license in 2000, maybe 2000. I was 18 years old. My dad was in construction. I couldn't wait to stop working for dad. My thoughts though, he could build it, I could sell it. And then we went on building multifamily and such like that. But when I built some spec homes, yeah, I got burnt pretty bad. And a lot of people did. Um, what do you think's going on in the market today? Are you seeing 2006 all over again? Like, what are your views and thoughts on this?
Yeah, and please let me do a disclosure here. Like, this is only my views. If someone tells you they can predict what's going on, it's just there's no one in the predictable Hall of Fame show anymore. Okay, it just doesn't exist. So, my opinion is that no, it's different than 2006 because 2006 was not driven by like a national, COVID or anything like that, international. So I just think it's different. The economy was booming right now versus through all that crap versus what happened in '06 and 7 and 8 leading up to 8. I think it's entirely different. What I think is going to happen, obviously, I don't know. You and I would be on the beach somewhere. We wouldn't be on the show together. But here's what I said just recently on the show this morning. Chaos in general in the market, and I would consider chaos right now to be happening because people are worried about interest rates, people worried about Russia, people worried about COVID still. There's chaos. When there's chaos and you're positioned properly to be the guide to so many consumers, like they're yearning for that right now. Someone please tell me what to do in my house. Someone please tell me how to buy. Like they need that. When there's chaos and you can provide that, it's not only a healthy relationship because it's not a taking advantage of. It's a healthy relationship, win-win, but it's also very lucrative for you if you know how to position it. And so that's what this niche that we've been in is built to do, is built to thrive after '08. I didn't know COVID was coming. And when COVID hit, we boomed. Why? It was built to do that.
Yeah.
It's about as recession resistant is the word I'll use, not proof, as you can get. So
Yeah.
sorry, long answer to a really good question.
Thanks, man. So, all right. So you said that it's, recession resistant versus proof. Kind of give us what do you mean by that? Like give it and then break down like why do you choose this niche versus something else?
Yeah. Okay. So resistant. Why? Well, first and foremost, I don't think anyone could say recession proof. Again, I think that goes along with the predictability. Like you can't say that. In my opinion, this is just all Chris's opinion today. Nothing is 100% recession proof. How do we make it recession resistant? Our deals are such that in no particular priority order. One, we're getting massive principal pay down on our deals. One of our deals in particular, when we deal with free and clear owners, we're making 99% of the deals, we're making principal only monthly payments. That is hammering principal over just a few years versus an inverse relationship going to get a loan. So that's one resistant factor we have in. Second, all our agreements are built in to be able to pivot. And I mean that in a positive way, not a hidden way in an agreement. If the market was to crash tomorrow, there are pivots I can make on every single one of my deals with the seller. Third, I'm not on any, when I say me, the way our system is built, any investor is not on any loans personally. In 2008, I was on about 23 of them. And I learned the hard way that bankers don't care about me. They got a personal signature. Voila, they're coming after you. So we control, I don't know, at any one time, 30 to 70 properties as a family company, not counting the student deals we do. And we are not on one single solitary loan, Josh, not one.
Yeah.
So I can sleep much better at night knowing that than I'm on all these loans and what's going to happen tomorrow. Because I would be thinking that now if I had those. As far as this niche, why, in addition to what I said, why this niche compared to others, because I've been in so many, and this is the track laser focus since '08. Because it was built to do what I said earlier, weather all storms and perform in all markets. Like it literally doesn't matter what the market is. My wife always says when there's something on the news, okay, how's that going to affect you? How's COVID going to affect? How this? I always say when there's change and chaos, this niche is built to handle that. And we've proven it all over and over and over again. That's why. The second reason is you and I both have, I'm sure, gotten nice paydays on deals. Like real estate's been good to us despite the crash. Other than that, really good to us. But there were one payday deals, right?
Yeah.
You build a kick butt home, you get a deal. When I was a realtor, you get a deal. All these are one payday deals. And so when January would come along, I'd be like, oh man, I got to do it again if I want to produce that. We trademarked federally in the United States, we trademarked 3 paydays. So an investor can come in, and this is a good business model for anyone, never mind real estate. You get paid now when you do a deal, you get paid monthly when you do a deal, and you get paid long-term when it cashes out. That's the ideal cash flow model. So that's what we've built. And that sure beats getting paid once and having to stay on a treadmill.
Yeah. So now monthly, and then when there's a cash out event, is that what I hear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And trademark. That's interesting. Um, so on the 3 payday approach, right? If something lines up, and is this across all your projects, or is this only project by project base?
Good question, because I teach what I just said, the 3 paydays. I teach it on lease purchase, owner financing, and subject to existing financing, those 3 deals. And everybody always says to me, well, can you buy commercial? Can you buy multis? Yes, I'm standing in the building. As I said, it's a very lucrative building. Just got it appraised for, I don't know, 400 grand more than I bought it a few years ago. So yes, very lucrative, but that's not a 3 payday deal, right? This was an investment that I happened to buy on terms that has just your regular run, try to get the NOI up, et cetera. Can you buy multifamilies owner financing? Yeah, we did a 6 and a 4 recently, cashed out. They were bought because they were free and clear, and they were bought owner financing with principal only payments while the tenants paid it down very rapidly, 6-figure deals. So those aren't 3 paydays, those are ones, but 95% of our personal deals are all payday 3s, and 100% of what I teach are payday 3s. Well, 1,
Awesome.
2s, and 3s.
Awesome. Now, what were you doing before real estate? You said you've been doing this 30 years?
Yeah, 91. In the fall of 91, I started. And prior to that, I was in nothing to do with real estate, but that was my tie to real estate. And that was a family company that my father built, took over from his father. And it was a welding supply business. It was nothing to do with real estate, but the tie was he built up from one little tiny branch that he took over from his dad to being the largest in New England with like 5 or 6 branches, brick and mortar branches. And so with delivery trucks and all kinds of overhead. But I learned that he built his own buildings personally, and then he leased them back to his company. And that got me seeing him do that, got me seeing him do land and things like that, even though he did it on the side. That got my interest. And that's what kind of got my head wrapped around real estate. And as a kid, I couldn't understand, what do you mean you build it and you lease it to you? Like, I didn't get that. But now I do. He leased it to his LLC and his tax advantages and all these things. I didn't get it back then, but that's what got me into real estate.
Yeah. So when you got into real estate, like when I first got into real estate, they hand you a phone book, you start making phone calls, you list, whatever you could get, grab whatever deal you could get listings, which bring more listings. And I hated it. I listed a mobile home in the national forest. It took me 35 minutes to get there, and I made $300 after a month of driving back and forth showing people, right? It's terrible. Then I started working with investors, and you know, and I got my butt kicked.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what was your journey? Because in real estate, how did you get to where you are today?
The
What was the
initial
path?
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. In 91, I was listening to an Earl Nightingale tape driving to one of our family branches back then. And he said something about a guy during the Depression that when nobody could buy or sell, would go around and talk to landowners and talk them into putting his sign out front. And if he sold it, then he would buy it and make the spread. So I literally got home. Now this is going to date me, but I set up the recorder in my basement. Literally, it was the phone recorder, right? Phone calls came in and it went onto the recorder. And I put signs out, and I started doing that and partnering with a builder. And then that builder and I ended up becoming partners in our own company, and we built hundreds of homes. In 94 and 95, when things slowed down, I bought a Realty Executives franchise, and I put my realtor hat on. Never was a realtor. Sold that to Coldwell Banker in 2000. That was the intent. I never wanted to do that long term as a broker, because like you, I was like, I wanted to build something. So I sold to Coldwell Banker in 2000, started coaching people and running my own investments. And then my own investments ran me into the 2008 crash. So that was kind of the journey. And then the rest is history, literally, not to be cliche, but because of the crash, you couldn't have convinced me then, but because of the crash, it's what we built now. We're loving it. It's created, besides the 3 pages, it's created some amazing lifestyle for a bunch of people. And our purpose as a company on the coaching side is to help individuals and families to create the life of their dreams. And we're doing that, like literally left and right, as they go full-time in real estate. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. About how many deals a year do you guys do now?
As a family company, we're still in the 2 to 5 range per month. And then as a community, the community we call the Wicked Smart community still does another 15 to 20 a month. So all total, we can do 30 plus deals.
Nice.
between family and students. Cause we rev share on all these deals, Josh, meaning I think there's an enormous gap right now. Well, it's always been in real estate training where someone takes a course or a seminar from that point to when they do their first deal. Some never do a deal, which is mind boggling to me because someone really, a good marketer sold them on a product. Good for them, but they don't have any follow up. So our coaching is very interactive. We're in the trenches because reality is you go to the seminar and you go out in the real world, there's a lot of stuff you don't know. And
Yeah.
so as robust as our course is, if they want to get more aggressive, we stay with them and do deals with them. And that has us right on their shoulder, literally talking to buyers and sellers, showing them how to do the deal. After 10 deals, you kind of get it. Like, you know, you learned a lot of the mistakes with us versus by yourself.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Wicked smart. That's what that is, right? Now,
It
how
sure
did?
is. I'll get your shirt's coming.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I'll wear it. Uh, Wicked smart. Like what? Why that? Why did you choose that name? Like that's a very northern thing to say. Wicked, right?
Yeah, it is. Okay. So my wife named Smart Real Estate Coach back in like 14 when we were official because I was coaching before that. But Smart Real Estate Coach. Smart Real Estate Coach really took on a life of its own. Has a great brand. And then we hired our media and now our CMO marketing guy Ryan. The Wicked started coming up just because we live in New England. And then we actually trademarked that. So we trademarked Smart Real Estate Coach and Wicked Smart is in the process, and that's not easy to do in New England. Like I can't even get the site, but I can get but I trademarked the name. It was just a New England thing, and it fit the Smart Real Estate Coach.
Very cool. Very cool. Now you work with primarily your son and son-in-law, right? Ever?
Yeah, that's it started with them and my daughter, who now has kids, so she's not active. But yeah, it started with the four of us.
Okay. So, is there any family drama that ever pops up out of this? Because you got son, right? And then you got
Yeah,
son-in-law,
yeah.
and there's probably a lot of personalities as, for deal makers, right?
Yeah, everybody asks us about the families. Okay, so because I wish I could say to you, yeah, I orchestrated this and I knew this org chat was going to fill out and this, but I didn't. What I did was I started working by myself after the crash. And then Nick happened to share my son in office with me as a realtor. And I asked him to help me do the buyer side of things. And that started growing. And then Zach and Kayla were in the bartending business and personal training business because that's the type of area we're in, very, very touristy in transit. And he said, hey, can we come in? Like, is there room? This was like 15. And I said, yeah, I mean, there's no salary. We do deals and we get paid as we do deals. And so after that happened, everybody fell into their roles organically. Like Nick loves the buyers and crushes it with them. Zach wanted to do more of what I do. And Kayla was more the general manager at the time. So we all just organically fell into our roles. And then to make sure we operate, to your point, where there's not drama or conflict, we then just simply established in 17 the mission, the purpose, and the values. And it wasn't top down. It wasn't me saying, this is what we're going to do. And then you got to buy in. It was, we voted on it. We built it together. We structured a 5-year mission, which coincidentally ends this year, 22. And so when a decision comes up, Josh, it's not opinion at that point, right? To your point of personality, it's, well, here are the values. Does it fit? Does it fit the mission? Does it fit the purpose? No? Okay. There's no personality that doesn't fit. If it fits, it's a go. You guys decided this. We all decided this as a team. It fits, great. So we live by that, the mission, value, and the purpose. Very key, because without it, you get all kinds of opinions and conflict.
Yeah. Did you pull that from like Gino Wickman's Traction and EOS?
No, I've heard of the Traction, very similar. No, we've been with Elite Entrepreneurs, similar. You get a lot of crossover. Elite Entrepreneurs is out of Arizona. The founder used to be with, he scaled very successfully with Infusionsoft, the company Infusionsoft, who's huge now. And so a lot of companies started going to them saying, can you teach us? And then they branched off and they started Elite Entrepreneurs. And we actually now have one of their JV partners who teach for them, runs all our offsites, facilitates that, teaches the leadership class for our team, like a lot of stuff going on with that because it's all about the training of the people, right?
Very cool. So mission, purpose, values. Let's peel one of those, back and share that. So
Sure.
which of those mission, purpose, values, which one is most important to you? And then let's talk about what you're.
Well, the purpose will live with us and the values will live with us. So the purpose, we can talk about that because that was the one I said, we help individuals create the life in families, create the life of their dreams. So like when a decision comes down, are we doing that with someone? Like, if we're encouraging someone to go full time and giving them a plan, is that doing that? Yes. So we kind of match it with that. And then does it have to line up with the values? Yeah. Like we won't go through all of them, but like One of them, because we're in New England, is clear, blunt, and to the point, no gray area. That doesn't give you the permission to be rude. It's open communication so that people can grow together. Conducting all transactions with the highest integrity is another value. Comes up a lot. So there's been applicants, Josh, that apply to our programs. Literally, I don't know any coach that will do this. There's been applicants every year for the last 5 years that apply that we've had to say no to, even though they want to give us money, because they didn't align with the values or the purpose of the mission. And it's just, we know it's going to pollute the community. So we say no. And so we probably turned around, I don't know, 200 grand last year, 21 to no to applicants. And so we're very strict with that. We hire, fire, and accept students by those.
Nice. How do you know when interviewing a student if they're gonna like buck up against, mission, purpose, or values? How do you know that?
Simple questions, the integrity one's a great one. They might give you an example of how they handle the situation. They might be rude to our staff, so they take that open, blunt communication to the wrong level. Right away, we know, this is just going to be a hard situation. So anything like that, we tend to be very, very family oriented. We tend to attract that type of person. So if that's going to not be comfortable for someone, we usually know right away. So just things like that. And then on the higher levels, they have to submit a video saying why they think they'd be a good fit for our community. And we usually can tell there too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, let's just say I apply and you're like, this Josh is massive ego, or, this guy's going to be a pain in the ass. How would you say no to me? So we're on a phone and I'm not a good fit for the community. How would you turn me away?
Pretty much along these lines. Our course is for anyone. It's an online academy and it's cool. You can do your own thing. You will go do deals, no question about it. But Josh, right now, because with limited availability, it doesn't seem like it's a great fit for our community right this second. We can revisit this with you in 6 or 12 months because people change. Some of these guys were super young, and guys and gals were super young, and maybe things will change over time. And so we left that door open because sometimes when we do it, they're like, no, I'll do whatever it takes. So it just sometimes it's a timing thing. We all mature, right? Gosh, in my 20s, you probably wouldn't want to deal with me. Yeah. So everybody changes.
Yeah, I'm trying to mature. I'm 40 and I'm trying to still figure this shit out.
You and me both, but I got a few years on you, but you and me both.
Yeah. How old are you, man?
I'm 56 tomorrow, actually, as of this training, this recording.
No kidding. 56 tomorrow, huh? What are you going to do to celebrate?
I am actually going to hang with my grandkids in the morning. My son-in-law and daughter's 2 kids. And because that's my why, Josh. It's been that way for a while. Do the things in the businesses that create the money do the things that money can't buy. Create the money to do the things money can't buy. And that's experiences with the kids and the family.
Yeah. How many grandkids you guys got?
2. Yeah.
Oh,
2.
Awesome. I heard grandkids are a lot better than the actual kids.
Well, because you can do whatever you want and have a blast. And then like I'm going to their house tomorrow to have breakfast, raise heck, let them do whatever they want. And then I get to leave.
Yeah. That's hand them back over to mom and dad. Say, peace, I'm out.
Yeah. Good luck.
So as you're building out this, real estate, why did you start teaching it, right? Like if it's working so well for you, why share the secrets with other people?
Everyone asks this. Two reasons for us. One, general coaching reason. Second, more of a business reason. The general coaching is this. And any person that has done any coaching would agree with this. And that is, once you coach, 2 things happen. One, you have to have your sword be sharp all the time. You got to be on the cusp, or no one's going to want to follow you. I'm always trying to stay one step ahead, because we're doing the deals in the trenches. So there's actually 3 reasons. That's one. Second reason is, when you're coaching people, we're now all over the country. So we're like a microcosm of society, if you will. If there's a tweak in the market and more seller calls start coming in, I'm hearing it in every market. And so we get to, as a team, as a community, learn from each other. It's hyper growth. So you do your own sword sharpening, then you have hyper growth because everyone's talking about the markets that they're in. And then third is, from a business standpoint, we're dominating the real estate market by showing people actually how to do deals, which I think is missing. But at the same time, we're spreading ourselves out versus doing our own deals liability wise, because we're doing deals with a bunch of different people. And so that spreads out not only our profitability and our variety of leads and our variety of markets, but our liability. It's pretty neat win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Have you ever had a student, so you spend a lot of time, you're teaching them, coaching them, and then they go off and build their own coaching program that looks very similar to yours?
We haven't had a direct yet, but I know that's reality in real estate. It is. My wife asks me this all the time, but I'm more on the line with morally and ethically. If we treat people right, that they won't go out and step on toes. That's my opinion. My second opinion is I come from the prosperity mindset versus like I have people, Josh, within an hour of this office that we teach, and people go, "What, you teaching? You do deals there too?" I said, "Yeah." You know how many millions of deals there are in the market? Like, have a prosperity mindset. And so if they want to go out and do some stuff on their own, God love them. We've worked hard to get to where we are, and it takes years to do that. But I'm not going to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah. Now you mentioned sharpening a sword,
Mhm.
right? What like why did you come up with that like metaphor to describe like staying sharp? Like why a sword in your
Yeah,
mind?
guy, one of my mentors. I've always had a mentor almost all the time, and one of them in like 2000, I was doing some speaking for a direct sales company, actually traveling the world, and this guy said, "Chris, we're going through some frustration," and he said, "Okay, that's normal. If your axe is not against the grindstone and sparks are not flying, then you're not growing." And so that's why I guess I started using that. No one ever asked me, but I think so. He used to always say that sparks got to be flying, your axe got to be against the grindstone. You'll be learning and growing constantly, or you're going backwards.
Ah, very cool. I for some of my coaching clients that graduate whatever like I used to send them a gladiator sword.
Cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then I went to go buy my own, and they discontinued it. It's like the coolest sword from like I think it was Cold Steel or something like that. It's badass, man. It's cool.
It's funny, we bought our coach. He passed away this past year, but one of my mentors, who I'll never forget, Tim, out in California,
Yeah.
when I was a realtor, this is my realtor days. He coached all like five of us. We all did like 100 homes a year, and we got him the Mel Gibson. What movie? We painted his face half
Braveheart.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got him that sword up on stage, and he painted his face up and everything. So it's funny. We had similar paths, you and I.
Yeah, yeah, super cool. I love that movie. That is a cool movie. Out of all the movies you've seen, are you a fan of film and cinema?
Yeah. I handpick them, but yeah, of
Okay.
course.
What's one of your favorite movies?
This is like the answer to the books because it's where I am mentally. So
Yeah.
where my favorite movie was in the 80s might not be now, right?
Yeah.
So recently, any true story that's
Yeah.
inspiring in any shape, form, or fashion, or I can learn from. So the McDonald's,
Ray
it's
Kroc,
the movie that
founder.
came out. Was it Behind the Arches or whatever it was?
I thought it was founder with
Founder. Sorry, the
yeah.
movie was Founder. Yeah, so the book and the movie to me were great because it hit business building. It hit kind of like the whole grit thing. It hit real estate. It hit everything. It hit struggle. So that was one of my more recent favorites. But again, it changes by where my brain is. Where do I want to go learn next?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if I grabbed your phone and we were looking through some of the playlists, right? What's some music that you listen to that gets you like, you just had a deal go south and you're like kind of pissed and you're like, but this music always lifts you back up. What kind of music do you listen to?
The only music I have on my iPhone is for two reasons. One, working out. So and I'll tell you what they are in a second. And then two, one of them we play as our theme song at the event after every break, and I play on the way in to get my mind straight. When we used to do the events, well, we still go to the hotel to broadcast. So when I go to the hotel, I play it, and that's Thunder. That's the song I use to come into the event and to they all know the participants now.
Thunder.
And my kids are getting tired of it. And I said, we're not changing it. And so I play that and a bunch of other ACDC working out, running, or even on the stationary bike while I'm reading. I'll have that on. That's it. Other than that, I don't listen to music on my iPhone.
But a major fan of AC/DC.
Yeah, that's dating me too, but it's workout music.
Yeah. Did you ever have long hair? Because you have short hair now. Like, did you ever rock like?
In college I did the old shoulder length
Yeah, nice.
college
Now,
before getting married.
yeah, yeah, I used to have long hair too. My wife made me cut it. As you're going through, the deals and your mission, purpose, values, like, how do you know you guys are winning? Like, how do you know you guys are on the right path, and how do you know if you might be falling off path?
How you're winning is a good question because this is important for your team members too, right? We define it before each trimester. So we pick as a team the strategy for the year and then strategy for the trimester. And then each one of us has what we call the big three. These are things that you own in your
Mhm.
role, even me as an owner. You own them. And it's to find what it is, and it's to find how we know we won, every team member. Because or else, how the heck they're going to know? It's a frustrating position to be in. So the metric might be for our CMO might be, create X amount of new academy sales. But on the coaching front, it might be, help this many students with this many transactions. How do you know if you won? Here's the number.
Yeah.
So just trackable, reportable items, metrics,
Yeah.
KPIs.
What are your big three that you're working on right now?
Well, because of my role as CEO / moving into more chairman, it is driving the revenue train is how I wrote it. And so we've got certain revenue goals. And then I have some metrics around the coaching department because as my son-in-law said, what we're working on now is over this next year, he says, getting your brain into the coaches more. He wants me to because my stuff is more about higher level deal structuring. Our course teaches you the basics. So he wants me to get my sort of, in his words, my brain into the coaches more so that we can get that duplicated. Those are my main two. The third one revolves around training the team up because here's a good thing for any business owner to get to $1 million. And I don't want to downplay it, but to get to $1 million in revenue in any business, in my opinion, it's about just more email, more phone, more grinding. Like everybody can do it technically. And if you're not there yet, then there might be some mental blocks, but you can get there. But getting from the million to the 3 and then 3 to the 5 is an entirely different journey. And so one of my big three is working on making sure the team members are coached up and trained up. So we spent more, and we are this year, on training than we ever did, hiring outside coaches and hiring internal coaches for the team members, not just the owners.
Yeah. Talking about mental blocks, right? Through different phases of your life, because you mentioned like I watched this movie because it's important to me at this phase.
Yeah.
What are some mental blocks during the different phases of your personal growth that you've had to overcome?
Well, there's normal ones that go through in business, but let me just go to the bigger one. The bigger one was coming out of the crash. So it took me 4 years, February of 08 to February 12, to even feel like, oh, I can go do this deal. Like I'm worthy of it. It was a major block because it's failure in 08. So if this failure, okay, maybe I can't do this. It was unbelievable. So it's a matter of getting coaches and getting around the right people who then eventually, some of them said to me, what you went through is nothing. I went through this. You just got to expose yourself to bigger and better ideas and people who have experienced a lot more. That's why I say, if you're seeking out mentors in real estate and they didn't go through what you and I went through, Josh, man, I'd be cautious. I'm not going to say run, but I'd be cautious because until you're tested, in my case, 9/11, my son's snowboard accident, COVID, there's a lot of 4 different markets. Okay. That little bit of a lesson in there, but until you go through that, it's tough to know how hard that is. It's a mental game.
Yeah. I tell people, if you just don't do the things that I failed at, just don't do these few things,
Right.
you'll probably be a lot more successful. I've been bankrupt, been on food stamp, worked in venture capital, private equity, and then on the back of a moving truck the next day. It's like, what?
You gotta absolutely come on my show. We have similar stories.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to do that, man. It's fun, and I like you in the fact of after '06 happened, I was like, never, ever doing real estate again. Done.
I said it at least once.
I said it for 10 years or so. And like people keep trying to pull me back in and finally I think for me a mental block at 2018 is when I was just like, all right, I'm worthy enough to get back into deals, right? I might be a little dusty, might have some cobwebs up there, but I'm getting back in the game. And
Good for you, first of all.
Thanks, dude. That was tough, man.
Yeah, I agree.
The hardest thing I've ever had to deal with is the thing between my ears.
Yep.
Right. And not any other challenges except my own mindset. How do you stay with I assume a positive mindset? You talk about abundance, you talk about prosperity. Like, how do you stay in the right mindset when, life's coming at you, kids sick, friends, mentors dying? Like, how do you stay positive?
Exposure again. I'm going to use that again,
Yeah.
meaning you self-brought in exposure to people. So in my case, reading certain material in the morning, meditating. I'm not talking hours. I'm talking 10 minutes guided meditation, working out, and reading certain thoughts. Now, I also have what I call future, end of the year statements. So in this case, 12/31/22. What does it look like? And once I get those dialed in, I then write them and then I read them into my iPhone. So those are getting listened to every single day because you got to do that like a muscle or you're going to get beat up.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the people you're around, make no doubt about it. Like the people you're around are going to affect where you go in the next few years. No question about it. You got to choose wisely.
Yeah. How do you break up with a friend if they're starting to get negative or start going down to a naughty path?
Knock on wood, I can't say I had to do that in the last few years because I just don't get around it. I don't want to sound rude, but I guess if I had to, it would be evident because I wouldn't be calling back or making an effort to get together, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I mean, I just don't. Your brain just doesn't need it. It's like, would you pour gas down your throat? You wouldn't do it. So, why would you get around it? I don't know. I just don't choose not to. That's all.
sure. Um, when you do a deal, like how do you guys typically celebrate around the office, or when you guys hit a goal, one of the big rocks is accomplished? How do you guys celebrate?
Yeah, it's funny. It brings back a memory. So our old office building, my son and son-in-law would ring this cowbell every time they got a lead. It was hilarious. But then it got to be obnoxious because it was all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's just with our regular meeting rhythm. And we live on Slack. We live on Slack as a family team and as a community. There's 100+ of us on there, so we do a lot of recognition on that together.
Yeah. Yeah, the cowbell. Did your boys dance around like Will Ferrell
Oh,
back in?
100%. And then we used it one year to get people back in the room after the breaks in the event. And then some of the students said that was a little much, so we didn't do that again.
Got it. Got it. Copy. All right. So, what I like to do on my show, because my brain sometimes is limited in the questions that I could ask, so I bought cards that have questions on it. So, you're going to pick a card, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right. So, we're going to read this question. If you could give your parents advice on how to raise you, right? So, maybe as a kid or a teenager or
Mhm.
any area in your life, what advice would you tell your parents on how to raise you better? That's a tough
Um,
one.
I actually think this is a simple one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I would say introduce outside mentors sooner and more often. I
Yeah.
really would.
Yeah.
Because I did that with our kids, and I think it's important.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a good one. Out of all the mentors you've had, which one was like, this is my favorite? I know that they're going to be listening. They're all probably going, "What about me? What about me?" But
Yeah.
in your experience, like, what was your favorite mentor?
I don't know as though I could say a favorite mentor. Um, I could say more of at a pivotal time was the best person to be around. But I gotta say, in the 30 years, it'd be my father, because I could say to you, this year it was this one, 4 years ago it was this one at that time, right? Because I picked
Yeah.
pointedly where I am. But my father started the whole thing back with his company, and now still to this day, I'm talking to him about ideas as recent as yesterday. So, and he's 82. So
Very
that
cool.
it'd be him.
Very cool. All right. So, house catches on fire. All your kids, family members, pets, everything that has a heartbeat goes out, but you could only run in and grab one personal item that's important to you. Like, what would that personal item be?
Well, that's a toughie. You thought the last one was a toughie.
That
Um,
was a softball pitch.
One item and everything's gone. Um, either a either a book that I had a reason to be in, or if the money wasn't burnt, I'd have to go start something, I suppose, tomorrow. So I need
Yeah.
at least $100. One of those items. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, all right. So you'd grab a book
Well, if
or,
everything's gone, it's a toughie.
yeah. Okay. What book would you grab?
Well,
You get,
whatever I was in, there was a reason I was in it. That's
yeah.
my point. Like,
Okay.
I pick up books for what I'm working on right now to get accomplished, and then I'm done it. Like my wife will say, "You're gonna be done that by Sunday, aren't you?" Because I want to get something out of it. So there's a reason I was in it. I got to get somewhere with it.
What are you reading right this minute?
I actually am reading. Tony Robbins wrote about. I forget the gentleman's name, but the company's called Creative Planning. And I met with one of their reps recently because I've always been against the stock market, and these guys are brilliant. And it's called the 5 Common Mistake an Investor Makes, or something like that. The guy's name is it's Peter Maluk. I'm reading that right now as a I got to know this now item, and then I'm reading spiritual something about a breakthrough with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love it. I just sorry the names escaping me, but I'm reading those two. I try to vary it because one's very textbooky and one's mind.
Yeah. What is the one on the mind? What do you remember what it's called?
Dr. Joe Dispenza, he has a whole bunch I've read, but this one I love a lot. It's something about supernatural. The word supernatural is in the title. It might be the
Nice.
only thing in the title. Supernatural Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Why are you
because
reading that?
it's work. It's really working on the mind big time in
Yeah.
meditation. And I
I'm
have
gonna
it. I
look
have
that
the
up.
app too. He's got a great app.
Yeah, I gotta find that. Maybe you can ping me with that that
Yeah,
book.
and when we get off, you can text me quick before my next show, and actually, I probably have your info, but yeah, I'll get it from you. I'll get it for you.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. You're really generous. Like, you're like, hey, I'm gonna get you a shirt, and this like generosity seems like it's important for you. Is that your love language? Like giving? Is that a part of your
Yeah, I've
love
never been
language? I
asked
don't know
that, but
why
it
I said that.
feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. It's fun.
Yeah.
You never
Now,
know what comes back.
yeah, that's true, man. So in this interview, I always want to give people a place to do a plug, for people out there who want to learn about real estate, do some deals, and maybe have someone sit over their shoulder and do deals with them,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
some rev share, JV opportunities. What's a good place for people to like start, get connected with you, and maybe do a deal with you?
I'll give you two things for your audience. This was the most unique questions I've ever gotten. I enjoyed it. I'll give you two things for your listeners instead of one. One is I want to give you the best seller, but I don't want to do what most people do and say, hey, it's free, and then give me a credit card. I'll charge you $6 to ship it. We'll ship it out of this office. It's hardcover. It's an Amazon bestseller called Real Estate on Your Terms. Go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Josh Wilson, and you'll get that
Awesome.
book for free. And there might be some other goodies in there. But if you want to do something now, because I hate people going, okay, I got to wait a week or two, go to, if you don't mind dealing with me for 55 more minutes, go to a free class. It's at smartrealestatecoach.com/masters with an S class. And you'll get more of an overview of what the heck it is that we do. If you like what you see for free, reach out. We'll chat with you.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what question do you wish someone would ask you? Right? Like you've been on hundreds of interviews, you guys have your own stuff going on, but like what's a question, personal or business, that you're like, I wish someone would ask me this?
There's a whole bunch, but one of the things I didn't say here, and so I'll use that is, and this could be for any business. I don't care if you own a hot dog stand, a restaurant, or you're in real estate. And that is, first, find a niche or an activity business-wise you can get behind. Like it just lights you up. If it's this, great. If it's something else, great. Second, find someone in that niche or industry that is where you want to be. And I mean, sort of like Josh and I just talked about, like not just money-wise, because that's crap, but their family, their values, everything. You go, that's kind of what I want to do. And then third, this is a tough one. Put the blinders on for at least 36 months and don't go looking for a shiny object in any other business or any endeavor, and just do what they tell you to do. You will have the most amazing experience. The challenge is number 3, always.
Yeah. Dang it. I was like, check, check. Number 3. Oh shit.
It's tough.
That's tough,
It's
man.
tough. Yeah.
Especially for visionaries, deal makers,
Yeah. It's an attitude.
yeah, holy moly. That is a challenge. That is very challenging for me. But I'm gonna consider that challenge. I'm not committed to anything
I'm going to
yet.
follow up with you on that because we're going to connect again on some other things, and you're going to come on our show, I hope. And so, we'll connect again on that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Any final thoughts or one last piece of advice for the audience of deal makers out
The
there?
only advice I have for real estate people or want to be real estate people is you've got an opportunity, in my opinion, here in the next 9 months with all this chaos going on to create potentially for some of you, depending on how hard you want to work, a decade of income with the 3 paydays, literally. And so let someone show you how to do that. If it's not me, let someone show you how to do that, because don't get caught a year from now going, I wish I caught that one. This is one of those times where you got to get in front of it.
Awesome. 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 What we'll do is, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, we'll put those links in the show notes. So as you guys are listening, driving, such like that, just click on the show notes. You'll connect directly with our guest. As always, reach out to our guest and say thank you. The purpose and mission, vision of this show here is to connect deals and deal makers, right? So connect with our guests, say thank you, and do a deal with them. If you're working on a deal, looking for a deal, or maybe want to get on the show, head on over to thedealscout.com, fill out a quick form, maybe get you on the show next. Till then, talk to you all next episode.